We're going to call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Woburn Zoning Board of Appeals to order. I'd like to remind everybody in the audience that this hearing is being both videotaped and audio taped, so please keep that in mind if you decide to approach the rail to address the board. To begin our hearing, I'd ask that everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda this evening is a carryover from last month. This is the petition of Almiro and Michelle Noguera del Valle, 159 Mishuam Road, in connection with seeking a special permit. Hi, welcome back.
Thank you. So we did some exchange on the plan. We sent the email in already, and then I printed again. It's here, I don't know if,
So you have a new plan?
yeah,
Have you received it?
Is this the one you emailed me
yes.
previously? So it's the same as the one,
It's the last one,
okay, you should have this then.
with the new size of the addition. We moved forward.
I don't think I received any new plan.
Yes, you can.
Thank you. No worries.
You have this.
Oh, I took the original.
Yeah, no, that was the one where we made a copy of the original.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we're now looking at a plan that's dated 6/13. Everybody have that?
I don't have this one. I don't have one that's dated 6/13. The most recent one I have is dated May 25th.
All right, so one dated 6/13 has just been circulated to most of the board members. And so it looks like you reduced the size of the addition. So the original plan had the addition being 0.6 feet or 6 inches away from the side lot line. How far is that distance now?
It's on the plan. It's there. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, there's a measurement that's pointing to it. You think it's the 4-foot one?
So we moved a little bit forward, to the front of the house.
Yeah, so there's a 1.5 foot offset from the front facade.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that because there's two measurements by the side lot line. One appears to show that your fence is 13.4 feet over the property line, and the other one, there's a reference to 4 feet, and I believe that's intended to reference the corner, the distance from the corner. Let me just confer with my expert.
Sure.
It's not me.
So that's, yeah, between the two ones.
What's the date on this one?
All right, so the answer to my question is 4 feet. So the proposed addition is now 4 feet from the side lot line instead of 6 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other question was about the fence, that it was there. So we took pictures, we had pictures of the old one that it was there, just to show that, the new one. We have pictures of the new one and we have the old one. When we just put it in the right place. We thought that area belonged to us, but that was Paper Street. So we put a lot of money into that, And the last time that I was here, it was the concern if we were able to, if we get accepted, we would remove the fan back to our land instead of being on Paper Street. So I have some pictures that how we bought the house and we thought it belonged to us. But after doing the survey, we were like, uh-oh, now it's kind of late for that. But the fan was
All right,
already up.
Do you want to submit those pictures?
Yeah, you can. And I have the new pictures here too. with all the yellow line and everything, what's new there now. That's the old one. Yeah, that's when we bought it, and then this is,
These are old. These are
Excuse me, I just had a quick question.
Okay.
Did I understand you to just say that if it's approved, you would move the fence
yes, we would. We would put everything back to our,
to the property
yeah,
line?
to the property. I already talked to Edward, the survey, and he's gonna come back, and if it get approved, everything, we already paid for him to come back and redo, the plot plan that you guys have.
Does that include the patio section too?
Yes, we're gonna have to remove all that, and it's gonna cost a lot of money. We already put money into it. Now, it's to remove everything. It's like a lot of money.
Go ahead.
I might have asked this the last time. Is this Clifton Street, is that being used
There's
now other than by you?
No, you can see on the picture, it's only wood. There was a tree that came down, it's still there, there's nothing there. Only woods and leaves. There's nothing there.
It's just open space.
Yeah, if you look in the picture, you're gonna see, we are the ones who clean when all the leaves come, and we try to maintain, take all the trash out. You can see it on the pictures. Only woods, there's nothing, no neighbors next to it. I have a neighbor, a good neighbor that, not a good neighbor, but a good friend of the family since we moved there. He's always around, and he's here too if he can have a word too. And he was there forever.
Sure, well, let me ask, is there anyone in the audience who cares to be heard in connection with this request for a special permit at 159 Mishawam Road?
142.
Sure, if you could come up and give us your name and address, sir?
Yes, my name is Tommy Markwoods. I live at 142 Mishawam Road, lived there since I was 13 years old. And I was there before those houses were even there. I'm going way back. As far as what you done to the property was unbelievable. I mean, the Clorys first built the house, and they sold it to some other people, and they let it go, really let it go bad. And when they moved in, they didn't know anything about the fence. They had a pool. Clorys had the pool. They fenced it in, probably never had it surveyed. They came in with a good heart, starting off. They put the fence, followed the thing up, and they put a lot of money into it. That is not, just plain brick. I mean, everything is custom made. It's very, very nice. And as far as the property next door, they're always over there. People go by, they throw cans, they throw rubbish. We even got market baskets in there. They take them out, put them in their truck, bring it back. I mean, as far as a neighbor, I have no complaints. Very good. For what's happening to them, to turn around, to lose this kind of money, I think is a real hardship. I mean, let's put it this way. For young people that come from Brazil to turn around and have a house like that with 2 kids and 1 on the way, they ought to be very proud of themselves. And it's a damn sin that they have to destroy something that they didn't realize what was going on. And you can see at those pictures, That's not a skimpy job.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
I thank
to
you,
share it with
folks.
us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
So the picture show a wooden fence? Was the plastic fence built outside of the wooden fence?
In the same place. In the same, we just took the wood and we put the plastic.
Is there anyone else in the audience who cares to be heard in connection with this request for a special permit?
Chairman, there used to be, I haven't raised it recently, but I remember the issue used to be raised that there had to be some way to get to the backyard. You know, in this particular situation, is this pool a in-ground type of pool?
Can you say it again?
Is there a swimming pool in the backyard?
Yeah, there's a pool there.
Is it in ground or above
In
ground?
ground.
See, the issue is, how do you propose that if there, God forbid, there was some emergency in the backyard, how would the
There's a,
emergency people get to the
there's
backyard?
an exit the other way too.
I'm sorry, I can't,
There's an exit the other way. The fence goes around, so there's a door here where you're seeing, and there's another door in the other side of the pool.
yeah, through the house?
Yeah, into the outside. We still have land to the other side of the house, to the left.
Yeah, well, how, you got, what, it looks like 4 feet on the other side of the house as well, right? Where your deck is?
Yes, there's a door. There's a gate there going out there, going outside, and there's a door into the house.
Oh, I understand, there's a door to the house, but what, from the property, well, is it fair to say there's 4 feet on both sides of the, if you do this improvement, there's 4 feet on both, gonna be 4 feet on both sides of the house?
The addition is gonna be on one side of the house, not to the other side. So the other side.
How much space is on the other side between the,
That I don't know what to tell, because there's, you know, there's a door there that you go outside. I don't know. I didn't take pictures of that way.
well, I'll ask the question again. How would if, for instance, there was a emergency issue at the swimming pool, how would a EMT get back to the pool?
There's a gate right next to it.
There's a what?
There's a gate that you open because the fan goes all around, you know, all around the house, to the back of the house.
I've heard.
If I can show on the plan, you're gonna see it, you know?
Where's the gate?
The gate's right next to it. In the other side of the house, we are talking about that, you know?
No, my question is, where is the gate?
The gate,
Yes.
it's on there's one in the left and one in the right side.
I don't understand, so I'm looking at your plot plan, and it
Uh-huh.
shows me the fence, and there's nothing that looks like a gate.
Can I show you? There's a gate there. I'm sorry.
There's two gates, one on the left-hand side, one on the right-hand side, coming in from, and there's also, you come in through the house,
Wait a sec, I
downstairs.
think one of the pictures seems to show, is it a double wide gate?
This one won't show.
Oh, you don't show it. Let me see. Let me see the other one you took. That one.
No, we concentrated there.
All on
instead
that
of-
side.
yeah.
There is pictures, I mean, not pictures, but there's one on the driveway and also on the other side. There's two ways to get in, plus the house.
Sure. I assumed there was one near the driveway, but I can't see it because there's a van parked in the driveway, so maybe the van's blocking the view of the gate.
Well, of all the things we didn't take.
The gate is right. There's another picture here, but smaller. This is the gate. You know, this is the main gate that is probably gonna be taken off, but and then we have another gate to the other side of the house too.
Now we all concentrated
Do,
on one side.
We stayed in one side of
I
the
see
house.
those,
But again, if you're saying if this is approved, this gate's gonna be removed, so the gates that are there now are really.
Yep, you can have it.
That looks like a gate right there.
I have the camera.
How about the old one? Oh, there it is.
that's the side where
I
the,
can't tell.
I don't,
This looks like.
Because there's one right there, right under the, see?
All right, so that's the driveway side. I can see the hinge.
can you show me where the driveway is on this plan?
Yeah, this is the old plan though, but this is the driveway. I think right there is the gate.
I concentrated on that one instead of,
Also where the.
Yeah, they're gonna fill that all in. It's gonna be.
So there's 4 feet here, you get that. and it looks like 4 feet over here, or maybe.
Yeah, but the gates of it. But it's fenced in.
because there's a gate here, there's a gate there.
I don't, but it doesn't show the thing there.
But it shows the little stairs going down the gate. I have it in the phone, in the camera, the back camera. I don't know if that will help, but showing the two gate, one gate here and one gate there. Not exactly, but
Yeah, I think there's one right
the call pictures, but we didn't take
No,
pictures.
Well, I couldn't even get through it.
How does the board wish to proceed?
Madam Chair, I just had a question to the chair on matter of, like, was it adverse possession? And say, with the patio, if that, you know, that's, the fence is almost 20 feet over the line, so that's one matter, but the
Sure.
patio, not as much.
A claim of adverse possession can be made when there's been continuous, open, exclusive, adverse, and notorious possession of property, typically walling in property or installing a fence on property is a way to establish adverse possession. It's got to be for a period of 20 years, though.
I'll come up with it.
So my question concerning, let's focus on the patio. If the options are they dig it up and move it back to the line, or would it be appropriate to do as a condition that they, that this city maintains ownership of the
Well,
paper street?
the paper street is labeled a private way, so they could not, if it were a city property, you can't establish adverse possession on the city's property. This is marked a private, unimproved way. So somebody, somewhere, owns that property.
Okay.
I don't think that we, as a board, have the authority to authorize them to do anything beyond their property line.
Okay, that answers my question, thank you.
How
does the board wish to proceed?
Madam Chair, I just want to comment, I personally, I was, until I gave some more consideration to this, I was going to vote for this, but I'm very concerned about the emergency people getting into the backyard if there's a problem. Particularly because of the swimming pool, if we.
Like I said, there's an exit right there. I just don't have the picture, but there's a gate. There's gate in this side and the other side.
Okay, how wide is each entryway? How wide is each gate?
About 5.5 feet.
So there's 5.5 feet on each side
Each
of
doorway.
of the improved product.
Right. There's big gates. If you're thinking about getting a wheelchair,
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned, a wheelchair or a.
right, it'll go right
I
through.
mean,
No
you know,
problem
whatever-
whatsoever.
Whatever an ambulance.
Whatever the ambulance would need, it's wide enough for them to go in, even with 2 people.
Well, sir, you know what do they call the,
Stretcher.
when the EMTs come and they wheel out
They
a,
have no
Oh, it
problem going
opens.
through. No problem whatsoever.
a what?
A stretcher or a gurney?
Yeah, a stretcher, 'cause, you know, that's what I'm concerned with.
No, everything is on the level ground. It's wide enough for any apparatus to go through there. Wheelchair or a bed, whatever they bring in here, there's plenty of room to move around.
I just didn't take a picture because we were concentrated to the other
the
side.
other
and I
side.
didn't think about it,
The
you
pictures
know?
aren't gonna answer the question.
But there's a gate there. There's
there are
2
big
ways, you know?
And I
then
live
there's
directly
the house
across the
too.
street. I've been over there a couple of times, and believe me, it meets the approval that when I say the door opens up, it opens like from there to there, and that's more than enough.
I don't know, I mean, I'm not trying to be,
I
I'm
understand.
not trying to be in the way, but I mean, if firemen or emergency people of any kind
They
have to
can
get back
go
there,
through,
right?
if you want, if we have to, we'll take a measure, we'll take more pictures, and come back. I mean, I know we don't want to keep on tying you people up,
And
but
then there's the deck that we go up the deck and there's an exit too going that way. So it's the deck exit, there's the basement one, and there's that one. So it's 3 ways. It's not only,
and I go over there once in a while, and I'm 77, I might have a heart attack, I might need that ambulance, you know?
Let's hope not.
not in my house.
You're not coming over
Not
anything.
there.
Madam
not
Chair,
allowed
I
anymore.
think Member Robertson raises a really important point, and I wonder if a site visit would help clear that up.
Sure, if people
Because
want to go.
I'm confused too about, especially the side where the fence is going to be taken down and moved. You know, does that,
Right, well, that's why I just went back to look at the plan. So if you look at the proposed plan, because they're sliding the addition forward, that opens up space on that side of the property. So I would assume that when they reinstall the fence, the gate's going to be between the addition and the property line. I don't know, I don't have that measurement, but
You had to.
Do you have an estimate? I mean, do you have,
well, I think most gates are like, you get like a 36 or a 48-inch, they're standard widths, but I am not a fence or a gate expert.
But we know the addition will be 4 feet from
Right,
the property line, so.
yeah, that's
Either
why,
gonna be
again,
4 feet or
I
less.
assumed that that would be the appropriate place for access to the back. Because otherwise, it didn't make sense to run the fence straight back. It only looks like there's a few feet,
sorry, I don't mean to prolong this, but what about, when you went over these things with me a minute ago, you mentioned there's a driveway there where the.
Yeah, the proposed addition is going to fill most of what is the driveway right now, right? There's going to be a garage under.
There's a garage, so we have in front of the house, we still have, a parking space there. And then it's gonna be a garage that a car can go inside there. And then still over here, it's still our property, the line, there's like in the picture there. And it still fit another car right here. So we have plenty of parking space there. And there's a street, I don't know the name of the street, but like. University Street right there too, but that's not the case because, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 parking space already there.
So there won't be any front yard, it'll be all parking spaces.
We only have 2 cars, so.
How does the board wish to proceed? Do you want to take a site visit?
I'd be happy to. It'll clear up some things for us. Either that or the petitioner wants to put where the gates are gonna be located on the final drawing. Whatever. Happy to do whatever.
So what are we going to do?
Make a motion to take a site visit.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Okay, so we're going to pick a day to come to the property so we can see for ourselves and get a better sense. Let's pick a date. In the past, we've done them right around 5. Does that work for everybody?
I'm sorry?
In the past, we've scheduled them like right around 5 o'clock or like, you know, between 5 and 5:30. Does that still work for everyone?
Should be fine. I'm flexible.
Monday's a holiday, right?
Is the first week of July good, or is that?
No. Is everyone around next week? Would June 21st work?
Thank
Think it
you.
would work.
I don't, middle of the day it would, toward the end of the day, it's not good.
All right, what about the 22nd, 1 week from today?
I'm away. Away.
You're away.
can-
Are you
I
away
can
next
go-
week?
I can go look at it myself. If pick a date that works for everyone else, I can stop by on my own.
Well, hold on. So you actually, so I said, oh, yeah.
First or second week of July work for me, but that's,
Yeah, I'm out that week.
okay. So maybe Wednesday the 20th, Tuesday 19th.
Sorry, my calendar's getting frozen here. All right, what about Monday, July 11th?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Does that work for the other members? If not, we'll pick a...
I think it might work for me.
All right, so we're going to schedule a site visit for July 11th. What time? You want to say 5 or 5:30?
Whatever.
Either works for me. 5?
Okay. July 11th at 5 PM, okay? We're going to come to your property and look around and get a sense of it in person, okay?
Sure.
All right,
July 11th at 5 PM?
yes. All right, so then I would ask for a motion to continue this matter to July 11th.
So moved.
All right, all in favor? All right, so that passed. Okay, so we'll see you on July 11th at 5
Sure.
PM. Okay?
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. The next item on our agenda is also a continuation from last month. We are turning now to the petition of Marcio Silva, 18 Green Street, seeking a variance in connection with installing a fence higher than 3 feet in the front setback.
Good evening, Attorney Mark Salvati, 57 Arlington Road in Woburn, for the petitioner. We were here last month, and there was some discussion about where we had moved or proposed to move the fence to, and whether the safety officer had taken a look at it, which he hadn't at the time, but he has since then. And what we've done is actually placed the fence in the place that is shown on the plan. And he did take a look at it, and I believe there's an email. He went to the chair, but I can read it in.
Yep, we all have it. It's
That he didn't.
June 10th.
Yes, that he basically said that,
The fence being set back has helped with the line of sight and seems to be a reasonable solution.
so with that, I'm hope that everyone's satisfied, that we've corrected the issue, and that the variance could issue for that 1 foot extra of fence. With that, I'd be glad to take any questions.
Any questions for Attorney Salvati?
Oh, the only question I have, this is, this report is, it isn't specific enough for me, really. It's a reasonable solution to what?
To the line of sight issue, what are you saying?
So there will no longer be a line of sight issue, is that what he's saying?
That's the way I read it. Yes.
Is there anyone in the audience who cares to be heard in connection with this request for a variance at 18 Green Street? No? How does the board wish to proceed?
I make a motion to grant the variance.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, that did not carry. The next item on our agenda is petition of Frederick Gonzalez, 119 Wynn Street, seeking a building permit. I will be recusing myself from this matter. And Member Robertson,
Skipped one.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Third on our agenda is the petition of Marshall White, 73R Pleasant Street, and John Sheehy, 25 Hiawatha Road, seeking a variance to construct a fence higher than 3 feet within the front setback. Welcome back.
How's it going? So I didn't have a chance to get these to you ahead of time, but I do have some additional visual aids if you wouldn't mind looking at them. I also want to point out that I'm not an architect or an artist in any way, shape, or form. The fence that I drew there looks like something out of Looney Tunes, I understand, but I think it gives you a sense of what the impact is in terms of line of sight and any other such issues. Also, on the reverse side, there's the neighbor, the abutter across the street has a 6-foot-tall wooden fence directly on the sidewalk, so I submit that as a precedent.
Oh, is that, did you find out whether there was a building permit issued for that fence?
I have no idea.
All right. So if there's a 6-foot fence right on the property line, on the frontage, chances are no building permit was issued.
Right.
Unless there's a record of the board granting a variance for that address.
I couldn't find anything.
Okay.
I don't know how long it's been there, so on and so forth.
Okay, so any members of the board have any questions?
Just, could you, this is on a corner, correct?
Yeah, it's a
Is
corner
the
lot.
whole- Is both sides of the corner Hiawatha Road, or
The side where the fence is actually Crawford.
is what?
Is Crawford Street.
Crawford?
I think it's Street. Drive, sorry, Crawford Drive.
Is either one of those, is, well, Hiawatha isn't it? Hiawatha's a big circle, it's not a dead end, right?
No, that's a dead end, right? It doesn't loop around. It splits and you've got a dead end in either direction, actually.
Hiawatha is?
Yeah,
What about Crawford, you go up to Cambridge Road?
exactly.
any questions or
Just a
comments?
quick question. So that fence, it's like a rounded corner there, right? So it's-
Right.
It's pretty much open at that corner, and the fence comes in. How close to those propane tanks does that fence go?
We're gonna try to get them as close as we can, so it's within, you know, 1.5 feet, 2 feet,
Okay.
and then it turns the corner.
Yeah, that was my, I've been by there several times, including again today, to look at it, and a lot of landscaping there, I mean, everything, you know,
Yeah,
it's all, I just, you know, 6 foot close to the sidewalk, I just don't, you know, I have a problem with, I see where the, and it's kind of a small area there, so, you
Right.
know, I understand that too. I would personally like to see, if it's 6 feet, a little bit further off of the, not so much for the sight line, but, I mean, for the traffic, but just for the neighborhood, because the one
Sure.
across the street, which I see, you know, I know is it, you know, the problem becomes, if everybody starts putting up these 6-foot fences,
right.
it's a closely settled neighborhood, you got beautiful sight lines as you look through.
Right.
So that would be my, you know, if we could find a place a little bit further off of this property line. I see how it runs across.
Yeah.
I saw the tanks.
Mhm.
Obviously, you'd wanna be up
Yeah.
with the tanks. But then as it fans out, not as close, not on the line.
Right, not, sure, sure. And I think last time, Member Parrish had mentioned that in previous cases, you've recommended plantings in front, and I think we'd be fine pushing the fence 4 or 5 feet back, and, you know, if plantings softened it, we'd be more than happy to.
I've got a question. On the drawing there is a dotted line that's just inside of the proposed fence.
Yes.
Is that where the current line of bushes are, or are they all
I'm
taken
gonna be
down?
honest with you, I have no idea what that dotted line was. It doesn't, that's what I thought at first, but it doesn't actually, when I went out to the site, it doesn't actually compare, but,
Yeah.
Let me ask, is there anyone in the audience who cares to be heard in connection with this request for a variance for a fence, the intersection of Hiawatha Road and Crawford Drive? How does the board wish to proceed? So I actually, I don't know if I asked this last time, but I don't see a measurement that denotes the distance of what so the plan that you had submitted that
Right.
shows the fence.
it shows the fence, but it doesn't actually give a dimension from the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And it was intended to be 2 feet. Which approximated the location of the hedge that we removed.
Sure. How does the board wish to proceed?
And again, pushing the fence back several feet and having a strip of lawn there or some shrubbery, more than happy to make that accommodation.
Sure. As I indicated, last month, I don't think you've met the legal standard, right? So my understanding is that there's a desire to stop people from cutting through the yard. While I certainly understand that desire, that's not a condition that relates to soil conditions, shape, or topography of the lot. So I'm not going to be voting in favor of it, but I am just one vote of 5.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, this, neither one of these streets are in the in my opinion, they're in the category of like Green Street. From now on, any busy streets, I'm not gonna vote for variances on it, but neither one of these are neighborhood streets. I don't see where should be an issue with respect to But was there an agree, did you agree to move it back from the,
Yes.
far? I didn't,
If- You know, I think as much as 8 feet, you know, just have a strip of lawn in between the fence and the sidewalk there.
And again, would you be willing to grow some vegetation along that line?
Absolutely.
We're actively doing that now, so add that to
You're
it.
getting ready to landscape, everything is,
Trying.
That's it,
the
yeah.
stumps are out, I saw the guys up there again. Yeah.
We're getting there.
Okay.
How does the board wish to proceed?
It's fine with me.
I would move that, we grant it with, 10 feet distance from the property line.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor
Is
of the...
that a motion? Just on the motion, may we also add to that there be some sort of vegetation grown on the outside?
second.
All right.
Wanna be more
Any
specific?
specificity about what the vegetation is? Is that grass?
Some
Shrubbery?
shrubbery that kind of cancels out the impact of this 6-foot fence 10 feet from the
Sure.
road.
Do you want to specify if evergreen or not, or?
Sure, evergreen, avidites, I don't know if we specified that off Hart Street that time.
Usually
In
people have
conversation with the
suggestions.
landscaper, we were talking of like a cypress.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so as that motion has been amended and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that carries 4-1. A decision needs to be prepared and filed in the clerk's office, so no permit would issue until 20 days after the decision is filed with no appeal, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome, good luck.
Can I just get a clarification? The shrubbery was a cypress?
Cypress.
Cypress? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now we're on to the fourth item of the agenda, which I had jumped the gun before. I am recusing myself from this matter involving 119 Wynn Street. Member Robertson will be the acting chair. And here, I'll just leave it right there for you, Ned.
You gonna leave it?
We'll come get you.
So the fourth matter on the agenda is a petition by Frederick Gonzalez, 119 Wynn Street, Woburn, appealing a decision of the building commission to deny a building permit pursuant to section 3.3.4 of the 1985 Woburn zoning ordinance based on the lapse of the variance at 0 Villa Street, Woburn. It's also, as I understand it, I'll ask the council, it's also, you're including in that a petition for a variance. I assume there are alternative relief
That is correct.
requests,
Yes, that is correct.
so that if one were granted, the other one you'd withdraw?
That is correct. My suggestion would be, and it's at the will of the board, but my suggestion would first be to discuss the variance, because if the variance is issued, a new variance is issued, then the other matter is moot. The appeal would be moot. I don't know if you want to take two votes or two separate, or you want to hear everything all at once.
Oh, I think it should be done separate.
Yeah.
What's the sense of the board?
Agreed.
All right.
I agree.
I'm prepared to ask.
Wait a minute now,
ahead.
what's the sense of what? I didn't hear any sense.
We agreed with what you said.
To
The-
take
to
it
take-
separate? Okay,
Yes.
which one do you want to do first?
The variance petition, I think we should tackle first.
Agreed. So, this is a request for a variance from 12,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet to construct a single-family home at 0 Village Street. Just a brief history, and this would play into the appeal as well, but briefly, the variance was granted in 2000. I assume you have the plan of land that's recorded showing the 3 lots. What they did was they granted a variance, or they granted approval of 3 variances in 1 decision.
I don't mean, have to interrupt you. Is there a plan, we're dealing with the application of the variance,
Correct.
correct?
Yep.
Have you filed a plan for that?
I'm basing the variance on the plan that is already recorded. It's an A&R plan already recorded, and that was the original grant, and I'm just asking for that to reissue on that lot.
I don't know, is that, I'm looking around for guidance of that. I don't know, do you have a requirement that,
It's a stamped, recorded plan. I think it would be sufficient.
has it been filed with you?
It's in the documents, it's right here.
All right.
It's about 4 or 5 pages in.
So that plan shows 3 lots, Lot 1 having 12,000 square feet, Lot 2 having 8,000 square feet, and Lot 3, the lot in question, having 10,000 square feet. Again, that was granted in 2000. At that time, or shortly thereafter, Mr. Gonzalez constructed a house on Lot 2 at 119 Wynn, where he now lives. The building commissioner, in conjunction with the city solicitor, had denied based on the lapse, but we're asking for basically a variance to reissue on Lot 3 from 12,000 to 10,000 square feet.
Is that your presentation?
That's it.
Is there any questions of the members of the board?
Yes, so basically, this was granted a variance back in 2000. So we're just re-looking at this variance from 2000, correct?
Correct. And I guess if there's a question of hardship, I'd make it that if this is not allowed, this becomes an unbuildable lot, totally useless. I'll argue the other part of this in the appeal, but from our standpoint, it becomes something he's relied on for several years. He was going to build his own house there. We actually had discussions, and I think the building commissioner will back me up, that we thought it was a valid existing variance 2.5 years ago, and we filed with the planning board because there's not quite enough paved frontage. So we have to get planning board approval as well. But this has been an intended house lot for 22 years. So based on equity and hardship, we're asking for a new variance to issue.
Anybody, any other members? What,
Just a-
could you articulate, I'm sorry, is there a
Just
question?
a quick question. So Lot 2, is that house currently inhabited?
Yes, that's where Mr. Gonzalez lives today.
And Lot 1, someone is living there?
Lot 1 is a multifamily dwelling that's been in existence since, that was the original, that was there prior to this A&R plan and the variances. So that's been there for quite some time. That is a dwelling that is occupied. Lot 2 has a dwelling that is occupied. Lot 3 is currently vacant and faces Village Street.
Any other questions, from members of the board?
Open it
You have a question?
to, no, I was just wondering if you, 2 things, Mark, the alternate member, is a voting member in this case because,
Correct, yeah.
and I was gonna ask through the chair if you wanted to ask if others wanted to speak.
Well, I plan on doing that, but I have a question. Could you articulate what the hardship is?
The hardship in this case is 22 years of believing he had a buildable lot and rendering a lot that he believed buildable, unbuildable. by this, by not issuing the variance. Now, I don't,
Is there any, that doesn't seem to me to fit in the statute, you know?
well, again, I'm basing this more on equity than hardship, and hoping that we can avoid this appeal, but I just assume that there may be a desire to...
I'll be truthful with you, Counsel. 99 times out of 100, this has come up before where what I'll describe as prior boards of appeal have granted variances, which, in my opinion, are questionable. But because they were granted, I would accept the action of the prior board of appeals. The problem is this: is that 22 years have gone by, so it's hard for me to piggyback this on to something that occurred 22 years ago. A lot of water has gone over the dam in 22 years, not only in my life, but in other people's lives.
Agreed, but it was separately owned by him. He's been paying taxes as a buildable lot all these years. You know, that's to me some evidence that this was always intended to be a buildable lot. And he's relied on that.
Yeah, but so you're...
I understand the difficulty with the hardship discussion.
Is there anybody else in the audience that we're dealing, this is, we've taken this petition, we're bifurcating it. Council Salvati has requested a review of the action of the building commissioner, and he's also requested in the alternative, a variance. So we're dealing with variance now. Is there anybody in the audience wishes to comment or give their opinion with respect to the variance?
Good evening. Jeff Dillon, Ward 3, City Council. This is in my ward. I have heard from various neighbors concerning the drainage and flooding in that particular area. So the question is, will this be more detrimental to the area we're putting a structure on there? The other thing that the chair just asked, Madam Chair, always asks, does the variance fit the qualifications of a variance? And I don't think the answer was given when you just asked. So just want to make sure the neighbors are represented in this case. Thank you very much.
Well, I just asked on the issue of hardship. Is that what you were
That's what I'm
raising?
referring
That's
to,
what
yes.
Constituents are raising?
Soil conditions, topography, and what was the third one?
Shape of the land.
Shape of the land. And was that answered?
Not to my satisfaction. But
Thank you.
I can't speak for any of the others.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the audience who cares to be heard?
My name is Deborah Finn.
I'm sorry, ma'am, could you give me your name again?
Deborah Finn. I live at 1 Village Street in Woburn.
Yeah.
I'm one of the neighbors. I'm also Freddie's niece, and I love him. We have a good relationship. My concern and the concerns of the neighbors is the drainage and the stormwater situation that we have. Since the land was cleared across from 11 Cummings Ave, we have 2 new duplexes with four double-wide driveways that sheet water right off the driveways onto Cummings Ave, washes down Village Street. The Grassies already get water in their basement. We have had, it looks like a river runs through our side yard when we have a downpour. It never happened before. I've lived in my neighborhood for 65 years, and it's been getting worse and worse all through the years. So that is my concern, stormwater, runoff, and drainage. Thank you very much.
Ms. Finn, those drainage and water problems sort of arose after the construction project?
No, we've always had problems, but it got worse with the clearing of the woods. We called it the woods. It was all trees, and, you know, they absorbed a lot of the water, and now it's a hill. They cleared the hill of all the trees, and we get water sheeting off that property and coming right down Cummings Ave is high at one street end, and it's high at the other end, and it pitches low right in front of Garassi's yard, and then it comes running down Village Street onto my property. I forget what year it was, but we had 10 inches of rain, and it was like 2 days afterwards. I was amazed. I didn't have any water in my basement at all, but I noticed a puddling outside my back window onto my aunt's property, and it was just getting bigger and bigger, and then after like 2 or 3 days, I had water coming up from my basement floor, right up through the basement. Water had settled and found its low spot, and it just come in. We had about 2 inches of water in my basement. The whole basement was covered. So that's my concern. I would like something done about the water.
I understand. So in other words, that's occurred since the the other houses were built?
Well, that was before the houses were built, but no sooner had he taken those trees down, and we got probably 2 inches of rain. My husband was running errands. I was watching the water just flying down Cummings Ave and Village Street. My neighbor, Michelle Garassi, called me, and she said, "Are you looking out the window?" And I kept looking out, and then all of a sudden I looked, and it looked like I was living in a houseboat. The water was just like a river running through my yard. And we called the building commissioner. I called my husband. I said, "You better come home. You better take a look at this." He went down and saw Scott Galvin. We were really upset. We were thinking the water was going to come in the basement. It cleared out of there, but it was very concerning. And if we get, they talk about water getting worse, the weather's getting worse and all that. We know that's a fact. So I just feel like it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Thank you.
All right, we've been there since 1976. We built our house, and it's progressive. It's getting worse.
Thank you, Ms. Finn.
May I ask a quick question, just through the chair? Is that where the Middlesex Canal went through and back there?
Yeah, we sit almost right on the Middlesex Canal. My
Okay, so
grandfather bought that whole side of the yard. I was about 5 years old, and I know that property. I lived at 11 Cummings Ave, 9 Cummings Ave, and at 1 Village Street. I played there, I walked there still, I know that whole area. And it was all filled in when my grandfather built it. We had no idea. As far as I was concerned, when I was a little kid, the canal was up behind the boys' club. But over the years, I realized we're almost sitting on the Middlesex Canal.
Right. But I know in certain other areas it tends to flood as well, like along Hart Street and things
Yes,
like
they
that.
do.
During big storms and stuff.
Yes, they do. I had a friend growing up that lived at 1 Middlesex Street. Mr. Smith, he's gone now, but God bless him. It was at the end of Middlesex Street and Chestnut. It's low, and now there's duplexes behind him. But he had the same problem. He looked like he was living in a houseboat a lot of the time.
Okay, thank you.
All right? Thank you.
Somebody else that cares to be heard?
I'd just like to clarify one thing for Ms. Finn. That the construction that she spoke of had nothing to do with my client. There are 2 houses up on Cummings Ave that were recently built that perhaps caused it.
What about the clearing of your client's lot? He cleared it at some point in time?
I don't believe he ever cleared it. Did you clear that lot? Did you clear the lot of trees? No. He hasn't really touched that lot. All the trouble has come from the 2 new duplexes that are up on Cummings Ave. It's nothing from my client.
There is trouble there, you agree?
I agree, and we've been in front of the planning board twice now, and I think we have some of that solution taken care of if we get approval.
What have you been in front of the planning board with regards?
We went to the
You've been in front with regards to an A&R, but not a definitive plan.
We went in front of the planning board 2.5 years ago with a definitive plan because we didn't have sufficient frontage on Village. So we've been through a lot of discussions. We withdrew it back then based on problems that we couldn't resolve with the drainage. We refiled, when I filed 2.5 years ago, that was based on my belief, and I think the commissioner's belief at the time, that the variance was valid. So we filed, and we were in front of the planning board for months working on this particular issue of drainage with the DPW, everything. We withdrew, we refiled recently, had a couple of hearings with the planning board on the same issues, and they've discussed the drainage at length, and we think we've come to a solution. when I got the letter from the city solicitor that her position was that the variance had lapsed. And we withdrew the petition from the planning board.
So what's in front of the planning board now?
Nothing, we withdrew it. I withdrew it to resolve this first. We have no lot if we don't have a variance, so once I got the letter from the city solicitor, I withdrew the petition.
Once this is taken care of, what would you go in front of the planning board for?
I have to file a definitive plan because I have to,
Would that have been done 20 years ago?
well, he had an A&R plan, but yeah, if he were going to build in 2000, he might have had to file. The question is whether the A&R plan could establish the fact that he had the right to build. But we took the position, and we knew that we were going to have objection, that we might as well, we'll file the definitive plan to try to get the drainage right and get approval so that everybody was happy.
Well, you can't address the drainage problem in the context of an A&R proceeding, correct?
You cannot, no.
I mean, in my opinion, a definitive plan should have been done 22 years ago. That would have,
Well,
taken care of
I
all of it.
don't know at the time, Mr. Chair, that,
Let's not argue.
yeah, the
It's
100
hard
foot.
enough to figure these things out now.
Yeah, let's stick with the,
So, is there anybody else in the audience cares to be heard?
May I say something?
Absolutely, it's your property evidently.
Thank you. My name is Frederick Gonzalez, and I own this 30,000 square
So
feet
why don't you
area.
take your mask down, because this is being
Okay.
recorded.
I own the property, 30,000 square feet, 2 buildings, whatever. And I've told my niece Debbie Dwyer, or Debbie Finn, I should say, when I lived on the second floor of the apartment house of 121 Wynn Street, and on a heavy rain, when the water comes down Wynn Street, half the water goes in the backyard of the apartment house. It doesn't stay on Wynn Street and go in the sewer. And one other thing I will say, and I love my niece with all my heart. I've never seen water on the side of the street running down Village Street on the side where my new house would be going. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else who cares to be heard?
Can I get it one more time, please?
Sure.
The water doesn't run down on his side of the street. When it comes down from Cummings Ave, it runs down on my side of the street.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify
What
that.
street now? That's
Village
Cummings
Street.
or?
I'm on Village Street. I'm right behind the Grassi house,
Okay.
right behind 11 Cummings Ave.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Smith. All right, so that's, you got anything that you want?
I'll just like to add, and the building commissioner reminded me that it would be a condition, if this variance were granted, we would agree to a condition that we get planning board approval to build the house.
And what's the plan? The planning board's got nothing to do with it.
Well, they don't have, if you want to make it a condition that I file for it, that's fine with me, that's
File
all.
for what?
A definitive plan with the planning board to create, well, I mean, if,
Complicated for me to think about.
I know, but we've been,
Maybe
they've been
the
allowed,
building commissioner, I don't know.
they've been allowed to discuss the drainage, so I'm trying to address it. I don't think the drainage should be discussed in the context of this variance at all.
You don't think it should be?
The drainage?
Yeah,
No,
all right,
no.
that's your opinion.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else who cares to be heard with regards to this aspect of this case? That is the request for variance. So, does the board wish to take a vote on so much of this petition in regards to the variance, or do you want to move on and have a hearing with regards to the appeal, and then vote on the variance later? I'd be guided by I'll be guided by the board. I mean, my own opinion, well, I'm not going to state my own opinion, I'll state it. Is there anybody
Well,
else?
may I just ask a quick question? Excuse me, should we approve this variance, right? It's just for the lot size, so you're saying it's gonna go through with the condition with the planning board, it'll go through the planning board, all the drainage issues will be ironed out, is that what will happen there?
Well, if they're not ironed out, it won't be allowed, correct.
Okay, and you would be able to build a house there as long as it meets all the setbacks and everything. If you broke one of those, you'd be back in here on this lot?
That is correct.
Okay. And is your plan to build within,
We can
Within the
meet all the
setbacks?
current setbacks, yes.
okay.
I missed that. What was that last part? About going to the planning board and they're gonna approve everything?
I believe his point was that even if approved, even if we get an approved variance, that we're still going to go to the planning board for a definitive approval.
A one-lot definitive approval?
Yes, I've done them several times. It's when you don't have 100 feet of paved frontage on a way, you have to extend that way even a little bit. You need a definitive, it's not an A&R. It takes it out of the realm of an A&R, and it's a definitive plan.
Yeah, but you have done, well, I don't want to
Okay.
complicate it further. What is what's the board want to do with regards to this?
Well, I would vote in favor of it, like, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of these ones that come by with the votes from our prior members, I kind of respect their decision from the prior board, but I would add that should we grant the variance, that the planning board would have to approve it as well on their end. But that's
So
just
you
my
would make a
opinion.
motion to approve.
I would, that's just the way I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that the water is a concern. But I also think that Mr. Gonzalez when he built his house, he built it with the understanding that he had another lot that was approved. If he didn't have that other lot approved, he might have built something very differently on that property. But he was thinking at the time, I'm gonna build this house now, and then when I'm able, or it seems advantageous, on this approved lot. So I think what he's done on his property was affected by the decision that was granted, and he was working in good faith on that assumption.
Attorney Salvati, just a point of clarification. So you're saying if it were made contingent on planning board approval, that would include a drainage plan?
That's almost all it would be about, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
but that raises another issue. Can we put something contingent upon the action of another city? I thought that was a no-no.
I think you can make it contingent on our filing for a definitive plan, for my action. But I'm telling this board that's what I'll do.
Mr. Chairman, if I could ask a couple of questions, where I'm new to the board. One question I have is, you mentioned that Mr. Gonzalez lives in the property currently in that house?
Yeah, on Wynn Street. yeah.
On Wynn Street. And the idea of building on the new property is just another single-family,
That he would move to and sell,
and then he would sell lot 2?
and sell 119 Wynn, yeah.
Okay. And how does the planning board come into play if the variance has been granted? Can you remind me again or clarify how the planning board comes into play on that lot number, was it 3?
We would have to file for a definitive plan. We've already done it twice and withdrawn it twice, one for this reason. But we would have to file for a definitive plan and ask for their approval of what they would want to see is a little bit of a widening on our side only of Village and an extension of Village and all the drainage calculations to account for the new house, all the pavement, and all the new pavement on Village, as well as what would probably be an additional amount to try to alleviate some of the problem for the others. That's what the planning board would look at.
Okay, great, thank you. And as far as the grade is concerned from lot 2 to lot 3, does it not drop down from?
From lot 2 to lot 3, it drops down.
Keeps going down, doesn't it,
Three
towards
three-
Village?
three is below 1 and 2,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, Village Street goes down.
keeps going down,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, thank you, appreciate it, thank you.
Excuse me, you just raised another question in my mind. You said not only widening Village Street, but lengthening it?
It has to be lengthened by about 20 feet. It's only, it only goes in front of
Right
our
now
property
it's-
by 80.
Yeah, so it's like, it's a dead end there, so you just
a
push
dead
it
end.
through.
Just, yeah, just to get the 100 feet of pavement for our lot. We need 100, okay.
You gonna build a cul-de-sac?
We don't have to. We're asking for a waiver of the cul-de-sac, and
You asked the planning board to waive the requirement for cul-de-sac.
that's what they do when there's a single lot.
I know they do that,
Yeah.
but
Yes, that's what I'll be asking.
the law requires a cul-de-sac, right?
The planning board regulations.
I understand they can waive it, but the law
Required.
as it stands requires a cul-de-sac.
At the end of, at the end of every dead end, it should be a cul-de-sac, yeah, 110 feet wide.
So you're not, you have to ask, the planning board has to, in their discretion, grant these various waivers.
Correct.
And the board votes to establish the lot, and there's no guarantee that they're gonna give you these waivers at all.
No guarantee.
Have you got, you don't get the waiver, have you got enough space there to build a cul-de-sac?
Probably not.
All right, what's the board wanna do?
The fireman built a big catch basin.
Good.
I should have, a full part on my part, I should have requested that the real chairperson remain at least in the room to take notes, because you know what? I don't like taking notes. But we have electronic recordings anyways, if there are ever any question, I guess. What's the board wish to do? With respect, this is just with respect to the variance. I'm gonna vote against it in any event, so the board knows.
Again, I'd be happy to vote for it. So I think, go ahead, I'm
You
sorry.
make the motion
So I'll make a motion to approve the variance.
with the conditions that the attorney has.
Drawn out that the planning board would have approval.
I would second that.
The planning board will have approval as to what?
What is it, what would you call the filing of a plan?
Definitive plan.
Definitive plan?
Plans for the construction
Oh,
of the
wait a minute.
Plumbing?
Do you have more to say? If you have more to say, I'll be here, I'll stay here all night and listen to you.
He looked at
But
me.
once we stop, all right?
I did. Well, I was actually looking at you. You're the only two lawyers that are here, so as a layman, I need help at times.
You just need some common sense and some, all right, so what's the condition you want to put on your motion?
The condition is the filing of a definitive plan from the planning board.
I would second.
The second of that? Anything else? Or the main motion is to approve the variance, and Mr. Parrish made that. Who seconded that? Mr. Clancy? All right, the amendment to the motion is that a condition to the motion to approve, a condition on that has been made and seconded by the same two people, that the petitioner file, I don't know what, file for what at the planning board? A definitive plan, is that what you want them to do?
Definitive plan.
Okay, all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
And the main motion as amended to approve the issuance of variance? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the amendment and the main motion carry 4-1.
Thank you. Just as a matter of record, request to withdraw the appeal.
Would you send a letter to?
Sure.
When can you do that?
I think I have to wait 20 days to do that. Don't I?
Withdraw it? Oh,
Well,
so that you.
Yeah, I gotta make sure, yeah.
You can ask for withdrawal right now and the board can vote on it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, Commissioner.
Thanks for coming, Tom. Good to see you.
It's like the old days.
Right.
Right, Ned? Told you, in January.
The next item on our agenda this evening is the petition of Karen Mills, 71 Eastern Avenue, seeking a variance to convert a single-family home to a two-family home. Hi, welcome. So, Ms. Mills, we have your application, but you haven't identified why you need a variance?
Because of a hardship.
Related to what?
I am by myself in this big house, and my husband passed away, and it's really getting hard for me to afford to stay in my home.
And what relief do you need? What particular aspect of the zoning ordinance do you need relief from?
I need 20 feet next to my neighbor, and I only have 19 feet.
So you're referring to the side setback? So, section 6.1, which is the table of dimensional regulations, has the requirements for conversion of a single family to a two-family in the R2 zone. So you meet the minimum lot size, you satisfy the lot width and the frontage and the front setback, but not the 20-foot side setback.
Correct.
And you also comply with the rear although there's no measurement here, but it certainly appears that you comply with the rear setback. When was your property built?
To be honest, I don't know.
That's a fair answer. Any other members of the board have any questions?
Madam Chair, Madam, did you consult with any, like the building department before you filed this petition?
No.
You just came down to the clerk's office, got the papers, filled them out, and filed it? Is that?
I spoke with an engineer and had him draw up these plans.
Did anybody explain to you about a variance, about the legal requirements for involved in getting a variance?
No, that's why I'm here now, to get that.
Well, you're here to get a variance. Did anybody explain to you what you have to establish in order to get a variance?
No.
Oh. That would have been helpful if you went to the building department or somewhere and found out what you needed to do.
So there's a legal standard, and so the board needs to make a finding that there's some, I usually read it, but it's very tedious. We need to make a finding that there's some condition relating to the property itself such as the shape, soil conditions, that essentially compel you to violate the zoning ordinance that you're seeking relief from. So is there any particular?
Well, I put an addition on in 1994, and I got all the permits for that.
Sure, and what side of the property did you put the addition on?
In the back part,
Okay, so it didn't impact the side at all?
not at all.
Okay.
Madam Chair, may I inquire of the
course.
chair? Is the only variance that's required is the frontage?
No, it's the side. She complies with the frontage. It's you only need
I
12
have
feet.
pictures of it.
Sure. You only need 12 feet side setback if it were a single-family house. But to convert it, the city council has said you need, 20 feet from the side.
And I have 19.
You're 19.1 and 19.5 at the front. So according to the city assessor's office, this house was built in 1890. So back then, there was no zoning in effect.
Madam Chair, is this a pre-existing non-conforming?
It's a pre-existing non-conforming structure,
Right,
but
because of-
she's trying to convert it to a
A one-bedroom.
two-family. Let me ask, is there anyone in the audience who cares to be heard in connection with this request at 71 Eastern Ave? Sure, if you want to come up and address the board, please identify your name and address.
My name's Ed McDonough, 28 Buckham Street, Woburn, Mass. I'm Karen's brother. I've been dealing with the building department. He guided me to go up to, gave me all the rules, what to fill out for the variance, and he said that we had to get the property resurveyed. We did everything we request that was needed. And Mr. Sheen was guide us all the paperwork to fill out properly.
Okay.
So most of the questions in the building, you can ask me, because I've been helping her with it. And there's no structure is going to be changed on the property. Only thing is going to be a door, closing up 2 interior doors and adding 1 kitchen sink. And we have proper exits in each house.
So there's already 2 kitchens in the?
No, not yet. We're going to be adding 1 new kitchen. That's the only new structure.
Okay, well, I thought you just said all you need to do is add 1 kitchen sink, so that
Oh,
implied to
yeah,
me
yeah, I
that
meant
there's
the
a
kitchen. I'm
stove and
sorry.
a fridge and a working kitchen, so.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Any members of the board have any
What's the
questions?
requirement for frontage on the street?
For the conversion, it's 80.
80.
And this has 94.
What is it, I'm sorry?
This lot has 94 feet of frontage, and so it needed to have at least 80. So again, it complies with everything except the side yard setback. It's an oversized lot.
Is it could it be subject to a special permit as opposed to a variance?
I don't think special permit applies to a change, although years ago, we had this question about whether the conversion was a change in use. My memory is, and it came up in Myrtle Street, I think. My memory is the city solicitor said a single family or 2-family, it's still a residential use, so I don't think she actually considered it a change in use.
yeah, that was point of my earlier question, where it was pre-existing
Oh,
non-conforming.
it's clearly a pre-existing structure, but it complies with all of the requirements for it as a single family. It just doesn't comply with the side setback to
Well, no,
change
except
to
for the frontage, it's 94 feet instead of 100. I mean,
Correct.
So that was what I was getting at, where it's pre-existing non-conforming, would it qualify for a special permit?
Oh, is there a I'm hearing you, Madam Chair, there's a separate dimensional requirement for conversion as opposed to, for
Right.
conversion, you only need 80 foot of frontage, 80 feet?
Correct.
So it complies on that.
Right, it complies with everything except 20 feet
but-
of a
and-
side setback. And
And
she's,
and what you're telling me, I'm asking you, it's not, the board has no jurisdiction to issue a special permit because it's a conversion as opposed to
I honestly, I don't remember when we dealt with this issue on Myrtle Street. I'm pretty sure Myrtle Street, because it's Myrtle Street, was also a pre-existing non-conforming structure because it's Myrtle Street, right? It's one of the oldest streets in the city. I don't remember.
What's the,
But wait, I do know that we had reached out to the city solicitor about that whole, and member Parrish looking through his
Yes, I'm trying to
his
find it.
file, trying to find that.
you really keep those?
If only he indexed them,
Yeah, no, that's my problem, you know?
you and me both. So the short answer is I don't recall. I know we have dealt with this.
I would just say, Madam
past.
Chair, I myself personally would be comfortable in dealing with it as a special permit, but, you know, I don't know whether the chair or the other members. I'd also be comfortable voting for the variance.
I think I found it.
Very impressive. What year was that?
I'm impressed.
So 2013,
2013.
Wow. Really?
19 Myrtle Street.
Yep.
I don't know, would you
Did
care
that
to look
address
at
the
it in
use?
your
Was
legal
that
ways?
was that addressing whether the conversion was a change in use?
Yes.
And does it say it's not a change in use?
New one.
She gets into the legality of things, but I think, I think we were asking if it was built before 1985, whether that would have something
Because
to
it
do with
was
it.
that the corner lot?
Why don't I
that
just
was a
give this to
corner
you?
lot.
There's some lawyerly jargon in there, but I think it's number 2.
Did you hear what one of our recent United States Attorney General, he didn't call it legal jargon, he called it legal, I won't use the word, English on TV.
Precedent.
I should have agreed with him.
Huh. So as to 19 Myrtle Street, the new non-conforming use, two-family, requires different dimensional setbacks, and therefore a special permit is needed for the non-conforming structure. Oh, so this was, there was a change to our zoning, this reference to 1985. There had been a provision in our ordinance that it kind of purported to bless any structure. So if a structure had been built on the sidewalk before 1985, the import of that zoning ordinance was, it's okay, it's a legal use, even though you built it like on the sidewalk. So that was what we were trying to figure out, and that doesn't, we don't even have to worry about that anymore, since the state law has changed so that if it were built illegally, but it's been more than 10 years without an enforcement action, then it's deemed legal nonconforming. So that was what the reference to 1985 was. This, based just on that one sentence, and this was these were special permit applications. 19 Myrtle Street. But this is, no change is being made to the footprint of this property. Although my memory is that was the same thing in 19 Myrtle Street. They were making interior
Just a center wall or something.
changes, yeah.
But I could be wrong. I mean, were we discussing parking and all that as well? I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't remember, but that's, this seems to imply that we do have the authority. I don't know if you want additional guidance from the city solicitor?
Probably be worth it, because it's a totally different property. My only question concerned, where the footprint isn't changing, does the mere fact that it's now becoming a conversion create a new nonconformity with the side setback, even though the footprint doesn't?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Yeah, because right now, it complies.
Right.
But again, that's the whole point of, right, why they're here for a variance, because it is creating a new nonconformity.
Is it technically?
Yes, it would be.
Even if they're not changing the footprint, just the fact that it's now considered, or it ruled by two-family guidelines, does it then become a nonconformity? Because now it's, instead of 12 feet, it's 20 feet. And instead of 20, it's 19 feet 1 inch, or whatever it is, 19.1. So that's my question. Is it a new nonconformity, even though they're not changing anything with the exterior? Because if not,
Two-family use isn't non-conforming, is it?
No, it's in an R2 zone. So it's a conforming use in the R2 zone. That's an excellent question.
So the last paragraph here, did you read that? However, assuming that the Board of Appeals were to grant a special permit under section 7.3 to expand or alter a non-conforming single-family structure, before the applicant could obtain a building occupancy permit for the conversion of that use to two-family, he would have to obtain variances from the side setback from 6.1, which are increased to 20 feet when such a conversion occurs.
Which is why we're here.
Where we're at.
okay. I'm impressed you found that. Amazing.
Yeah. And she answered the question.
Yeah.
How does the board wish to proceed?
Make a motion that variance be granted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm actually going to vote in favor of it. So that has passed. A decision needs to be prepared and filed with the city clerk's office, and then no building permit would issue until the 20-day appeal period
Yes.
passes after the decision is filed, okay?
Okay,
Okay,
thank you very much.
all right,
Thank you,
good luck.
thank you.
How are you?
All right,
Yeah,
the
what can I do about you?
next item on our agenda is
You.
the petition of Stephen Ning and Mimichu, 87 Bedford Road, seeking a special permit for an addition. Hi, welcome.
Hi, yeah.
So we have your application, and as I understand it, you want to put an addition where your deck is currently located?
Yes.
Okay.
But we expand the deck a couple feet because the deck now is, I think it is 12 by 16. But now we are doing addition of a room is around 19 by 17.
Okay, so you're making it a little bigger?
Yeah, a few feet bigger, but to my knowledge, we comply with the setback law, requirement, except it's ambiguous on the side street that is called Bedford Terrace.
Yeah.
When I went to the engineering department or anybody, because nobody know whether it's city-owned or private way. So, but there's no car coming in or out except our four houses there.
Sure. Your
So-
plot plan identifies it as a private way.
Oh, it's a private way.
That's what the plot plan says.
But the city proud the snow and clean everything.
Very nice of the city to do that if it's a
Yeah, that's
private
good.
way.
I hope they, not because after this and then they stop doing it. That
Well,
would be
let's
terrible.
hope not.
Yeah, but then, because, so I was told that our, that side is considered as pre-existing, non-conforming, whatever, because the house was built in 1953.
Yeah.
And then, but because of the deck was there, and then it's kind of considered grandfather, but not grandfather, who knows what it is? Because the rule of the setback changed, right?
Sure.
A couple of years ago, if it were not a pandemic, I would have done it. Then I didn't have to appeal for a special
Well, I
permit.
think you probably would have anyway because you're, although I don't know if, so I look at this and say, well, you're on a corner lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it makes any difference that Bedford Terrace is a private way versus a public way in terms of whether I look at this as a.
To me, I don't think it matters too much. It's only because of the side setback that the city require now. Because my house was 13 something, point something.
Yeah.
And then,
13,
but the
yep.
deck is 15 point something. But
Right.
but it still need a special permit. they say.
Sure, so because you're on a corner lot, you have frontage on two streets. You have frontage on Bedford Road and you have frontage on Bedford Terrace. And so, corner lots are considered to have two front yards. So you have you comply with the setback on Bedford Road, because you're back more than 25 feet. But you would not comply if we say you need to be 25 feet from Bedford Terrace as well. But your house sits on a lot that's undersized, so it doesn't comply with the current 12,000 square foot minimum lot size. The frontage, if we only look at the Bedford Road frontage, you don't have 100 feet of frontage on Bedford Road. And I remember we've had this issue before. about whether we count both frontages to meet, the 100 feet.
We had that on Main Street in True Place.
Was that the one right by the highway?
Yes.
Yes, and I remember thinking that the answer didn't make sense to me.
Right.
It didn't seem intuitive.
I remember that was a.
Yeah.
You're right, thank you.
Excuse me.
Sure.
I want to know is that even my house is, no, that's just to my knowledge. I'm not, arguing with the law because I don't know about that. Because my house is on a corner lot, and then that side street is considered as a private way, so I still have to comply with the 2 front yard.
I'd have to go back and look at the ordinance, but I probably doesn't matter whether it's a private way or a public way. But I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I don't know.
But in any event, so the board has jurisdiction to issue a special permit because it's an undersized lot and the frontage issues and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Do any members of the board have any questions? Let me ask, is there anyone in the audience who cares to be heard in connection with this application for a special permit at 87 Bedford Road? All right, so this is a single-story addition, right? Just like your
It's a ranch.
house, your house is a single-story ranch. It's going to be a single-story addition, and you're going to keep the gazebo, I guess, near.
It's movable. I
Okay.
can.
And the umbrella. And the umbrella in the backyard.
No, it's a polycarbonate.
Uh-huh.
That I bought it online, who knows what it is. But I love it. But, because I didn't know, what it is, but I just like it. I say, oh, it's movable, no problem. If anybody complain, then I just move it.
It's all within the fence.
But it's good, it's
Yeah,
fall season also. They said that, but of course you could not sit inside in the winter, but who knows, they advertise it as fall season, but it is not, of course, anyway.
How does the board wish to proceed?
I'll make a motion to approve the special permit.
Second.
All in favor of the pending motion?
Aye.
Okay, so that passed.
Thank you.
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
A decision needs to be prepared, filed with the clerk's office, and then after the 20-day appeal period passes with no appeal, then a building permit would issue, okay?
So, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
So after 20 days, right, when can I tell the builder to start working?
You have to get the permit.
After,
So the decision needs to be filed,
20
okay?
days.
And then the 20 days starts from that. And then, so then on the 21st day, you can go to the building department and get your building permit,
Oh,
okay?
So.
But
that
your
is-
builder should, your builder should know.
Yeah, that's another 4
So,
weeks
yeah,
time,
they might be able to do something,
No,
site-
just for the grandchildren. I want them to enjoy the
good.
summer, but now I don't think so. Who knows?
All right, well, good luck.
But thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Take care.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the petition of Catherine Muse, 8 Fisher Terrace, seeking a variance to reduce the front yard setback from 25 to 14.9 in connection with the farmer's porch. Hi, welcome.
Good evening.
Hi.
So, the plot plan seems to show that your house is 21,
A little shy of 21, yeah.
21 and a half feet
Yep.
from the front lot line on one side. I can't tell what the measurement is. Oh, let's see. And 20.9 feet
Yep.
On the other corner.
The house was built in 1960.
Okay. So you're here for a variance, but it appears to me that this is a pre-existing non-conforming structure because you don't comply with the,
Right.
you already don't comply
Right.
with the front setback. Trying to figure out how much frontage you have. You might be exactly 100 if I'm supposed to add the 85.53 and the 14.47 together.
I was just doing the same thing when you were speaking
I think where
earlier.
there's an angle. Do you have this?
Yeah, I do have that, yeah. Looks like just about 100.
Okay. All right. But in any event, and I can't take any credit for noticing that you don't comply with the front setback. The member of parish pointed it out to me. And so the reason I mention that is it appears to me that you're actually eligible for special permit relief,
Okay.
not
Not variance.
variance relief. Variance has a very high legal standard, and a special permit is a much more lenient standard.
Okay.
But let me ask, are any other questions or comments from the board?
I agree.
All right, so it's completely up to you if you want us to vote on this as a variance. I will tell you, I typically don't vote in favor of variances unless I think they meet the legal standard.
Okay.
But I can't, it's not my job to, I can't legally advise you whether to do one or another.
Sure.
But I can tell you that it's a much more lenient standard for the special permit. So in order for the board to grant a special permit, we need to find that we have the jurisdiction to do so, which we do in this instance because you don't comply with the front setback, and that the change that you want to make does not create a new nonconformity. So say you wanted to put a side addition on and violate the side setback, then we couldn't give you a special permit.
Correct.
But it appears that we have the ability to grant a special permit. And it's very common for people to ask us to convert the application from a variance petition to one for a special permit. So if you'd like us to do that, we have a form that you could sign, and if you want to do that, I'd ask the board to make a motion, and we could proceed that way.
Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please. That seems like
Yes, you would like to do that?
the right way to go.
Okay.
I think it was a question as to whether we needed to apply for the variance or the special permit, so we went with the variance being the more involved, so.
And this is why. So the other issue is, and I'm sorry, I didn't fully explain this to you.
Okay.
So when you apply for a special permit, I'm sorry, I should have told you this. We condition any approval on the plans. So we don't have plans that show the proposed front porch. And so one of the other findings we need to make is that the proposed front porch is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than your existing house without a front porch.
Sure.
And again, so we would need a plan.
Architectural plans?
I don't believe the application says architectural plans.
It's building plans.
So it'd be-
I work for the contractor, and we're building a farmer's porch.
Yeah,
It's pretty casual, but it does spell everything out, if it helps.
And
So
there
it's
is,
a 26 by 6 farmer's porch with a shingled roof, lattice on the bottom, and built to code, obviously 2 by 10 construction.
and the plot plan shows the proposed porch as
Yeah,
well.
that's
So,
true. That might be helpful.
yeah.
There's no dimensions or anything like that. I mean, it's basics, yeah, it's that. railing, the stairs, the rail for the stairs. And any type of footings layout.
Right.
I don't know, we typically say, you know, it would be something that they would issue a building permit on, and I don't know that if you took this to the building department, that
Yeah.
you can't do a building.
The,
Come on.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Madam Chair, can I just inquire?
Of course.
Do we, in other words, we require plans sufficient or in detail enough to satisfy the requirements for a building permit?
That's my memory, and I kind of, and we, when we looked at the,
That seems beyond our jurisdiction, to be truthful. That, you know, I always wonder when we get these really detailed plans, which are very expensive for people to prepare in advance of getting the permit.
right, that's
require
always the, right, the conundrum.
Can I add something as well?
Of course.
We've pulled permits in Woburn before, and we're required to give the height of the deck, the length, and, you know, the scope of work, but not necessarily a plan with the
Sure,
height of
is
the
it
railings.
a covered deck, or
It
just a
is.
deck?
Yeah, so it's pressure-treated wood with the ceiling, with the roof and everything, 6x6 posts going up from the footings. And
So it's a roof with a deck?
yes. Well,
I mean, a
farmer's
deck with a
porch.
roof?
I'm sorry, a farmer's porch, so a deck,
Okay, yeah,
26 by 6, with the post going up, supporting the roof
Yeah.
above. A farmer's porch.
yeah, and does it show where the sonic tubes are and things like that?
I mean, we've never been required to pull a permit, in pulling a permit, we've never required to give that information, but it does, in the scope of work, show that sonotubes 4 feet in the ground, and then we take pictures and send them to the building inspector, and the requirements for everybody building a deck.
Well, completely up to you, because if you want us to vote on that plan, and then the building commissioner says that's insufficient, you can come back. If that plan works,
Okay.
then good luck to you, so
Okay.
up to you.
Are
Do you
okay
want to
with that?
submit that plan?
Madam
It's,
Chair, may I take a look at the plan first?
Sure.
yeah,
Madam Chair, while he's doing that, what does our rules say? We should be governed by whatever the rule says.
but typically,
Revised our rules recently. Last time we had a meeting, we talked about the rules and we revised them because we wanted a legit plan.
so these are terms and conditions, and then scope of work starts from there.
But I'm sorry, can you give me the plan back? 'Cause
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what-
I just want to take a brief look at it.
Do you want
just
the
to-
plot plan as well?
The
'Cause
plot
that
plan might
shows
be
from
helpful.
So you have the plot plan.
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
thank
okay.
you.
We deal in
Thank you.
dimensional requirements.
Yeah.
As long as the plans that are filed show the dimensional requirements, I don't see where we can, it's fair to require more than that. I mean, all we deal in is dimensional
Sure, but
requirements.
I think the point is that if people give us plans that don't, like, so if you gave us plans and there's no measurements on those stairs, so if the rise and run doesn't meet code, then you're not going to get a building permit for stairs that don't meet code. So that's, right,
Okay.
so that's the whole point of us
Yeah,
asking
but
for
that-
plans.
Isn't that something that he's got to deal with you know, there's a,
Right,
there's
that's-
what, yeah, but I don't know whether you're aware, there's what they call a state building code of Board of Appeals, where if well, you know this, and maybe our new member knows this. If a builder gets, and it has a legitimate dispute with the building department with respect to whether the plans satisfy the building code, they appeal to the Building Code Board of Appeals, which is a state agency.
No, I've already seen
I
it.
always wondered why the detailed plans that we get are very expensive in advance of getting the permit. It just doesn't seem fair.
Do you,
99 times out of 100, they get the permit, but, you know.
are you prepared to,
It seems like we intrude ourselves into areas that we have no business doing. You know, that's my own, I've always felt that way.
Do you want to move forward at this point?
are you prepared to submit this?
Sure.
How does the board wish to proceed? Oh, I'm sorry, so you want to convert
This
this
is up to you
to a?
right now. Do you want them to take the vote?
Sure.
If there's a
I'm sorry.
discrepancy with the building department, you might have to come back here. That's the only thing that I
Yeah.
think we're saying. I think we used to accept drawings somewhat like that
Okay.
with additional some measurements, but there've been some things where people start putting things in different places, and
Yeah.
so
Right.
people would have to come back, so.
And then they want us to put, oh,
Obvious-
we'll change that, and then they want us to mark it up, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's, like, no. So,
But obviously, that's below the second floor windows, right? I
Right.
mean, so I mean, but
Yeah.
we keep, it doesn't really show it with the house, but I think it would work with the building inspector, but if there is
Can I ask you a
something
question?
off,
Can I ask you a question?
then.
Yeah.
Would seeing the house, would this help at all, if you saw it?
I just looked at Google Maps, so.
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove by it several times, and I see how it's laid out. I can envision what you're doing,
Yeah.
and, you get that drop-off there,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
front. So
Yeah.
that's a challenge, too.
And actually, I have neighbors who have said, we're so glad we got that postcard because coming up your steps for trick-or-treating, it'll be so much better to,
Oh, so the current stairs,
Yeah.
the cement stairs are dangerous, so we're gonna demo those stairs and obviously put a brand-new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it will make a big difference in terms of safety.
So I've kind of lost track. Are we
yeah, that's what I'm gonna go
going
back
to go for a special permit or variance?
That's, I think, up to you.
No, it's not up to me, it's your
No?
To
application.
you?
Oh,
So if you want us to treat it as a special permit, we have a form that we have you sign, and then the board needs to make a motion to do that,
I
and then
would go
we'll
ahead with the
proceed.
special
So-
permit.
Okay,
okay.
That seems like the logical thing to do, I guess.
Hello again, Gordon. Good, nice to see you.
Yes, I sure could.
It's a request to change the petition from a variance to a
To a special permit, 8 Fisher Terrace, and today. Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Okay, make a motion to treat this as a special permit.
all in favor of the
Is there,
pending?
I didn't get the second on that. Thank you,
Member Clancy seconded it?
thank you.
Sure. All in favor of the pending motion?
Aye.
Okay, so that passed.
Yay.
Any additional questions or discussion? And since there's no one here in the room, I don't think there's anyone else.
We cleared 'em out.
We'll be sleeping on one of the
With
benches.
this, how does the board wish to proceed?
Make a motion that permit be granted.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor? Okay, so that passed. A decision will be prepared. It's going to refer to that plan. And then after the 20-day appeal period expires, you can see if that will get you the building permit
Permit.
that you want.
Okay.
Great.
And if not, you may have to come back to us next month,
Okay.
but
I'll-
maybe
I'll-
that won't happen.
I'll provide better plans, too.
Okay.
We'll be a little bit more thorough.
Okay.
Great.
Folks,
All right
thank you.
then.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
We appreciate it.
Thanks.
The next item on our agenda this evening is a review, excuse me, approval of the meeting minutes
Hooray.
from
Thank you very much.
May
Have a great
18th.
evening.
You're welcome, you too. I have some proposed edits. I don't know if anyone else had any.
I've got a few typos. I'll just give them to you rather than,
All right, you want to tell me?
yep, on page 4. About just shy of halfway down. He said he does not see why they can run concurrently. I think it's supposed to be can't.
I'm sorry, what's the,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 18 lines down.
why they cannot run concurrently? That's what you want?
I think that's what it,
I think that's correct, it's cannot.
It's a double negative, that's confusing. Okay.
You need a motion?
I don't know if I'm waiting for anything else.
And then on page 7, about a quarter of the way up, said, in the patio near the property line, I think it's over the property line.
2013, something like that.
You were there for
Appeared, you said about how far up?
It's about half,
Oh,
yeah.
I got it. The fence and the patio are over the property line?
Forget it, I forget.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna give, my edits, and member Ryan.
Thank you. So what happened was those were continued, the original application was for a variance. So when I copied it from the previous, I didn't change, kept it as a variance.
I never heard of her.
And I don't know how to treat that. Like, 'cause
Did we
it's,
say it was converted?
Politics.
yeah,
Or does it say it in the last one?
but I just wanna see how it was, I'll talk to you afterwards, okay?
What was it? Hyphen, what's it?
All right, having reached the end of our agenda, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Can you vote on the minutes first? I must have
Oh, I'm
missed
sorry,
that.
I completely apologize. Yeah, we did not, can I have a motion to accept those, the meeting minutes as revised? All in favor?
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, now can we have a motion to adjourn?
Can you set a date for next month's meeting?
Sure. First, we're gonna meet on July 11th,
Yep.
and then we're going to meet on July 20th? Is that the right date?
Yep.
Okay, 6 PM?
Yes.
Okay.
Politics of the Chamber of Commerce.
Now can I ask
Now,
for
go
a
right ahead.
motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.